SmackDown took place tonight in Seattle, Washington. This was the 10th SmackDown to officially take place in Seattle, and it's been a pretty down week for me. Very sad news after the passing of Kevin Castle on Monday, so I've been pretty down. However, I thought this show tonight, despite some of the reception I see it's getting online, I thought SmackDown was actually a pretty good show. I see a lot of negativity towards it, and I think it's a general feeling that this WrestleMania build is just not what it was last year, and I agree with that. Last year, WrestleMania 40 in Philly was just a much more hyped up show, had more anticipation. The build-up was just better because it had The Rock on almost every week. The Rock was the star of that WrestleMania. He was the MVP of the build. Cody was really good. Roman was good. Seth was good. Drew was very good. Punk was good when he was on TV. There was a lot of good things going into that show. However, the one thing that's missing from this year compared to last was The Rock's presence. He's only made a couple of appearances this year, and to be honest, it's been pretty shit when he was on TV. And we haven't seen The Rock at all. I just saw a video of him that I think he posted on his Instagram of him wearing a New Japan Pro Wrestling shirt. That's sort of almost, to me, a hidden meaning, and he's I believe he's trying to unlock a Rubik's Cube. So to me, there's some sort of hidden meaning. I think we'll still see him at WrestleMania, even if it's just kind of what Triple H does, just to open the show and welcome us to Mania. I think we'll see The Rock this year. However, I don't think he's going to appear in the main event with Cody and Cena, and it's interesting how he's not even mentioned anymore. It's just so odd to me. Now, and I think that is the primary issue why WrestleMania 41 just doesn't have the same hype that WrestleMania 40 had. Now, for this show on SmackDown, we had Nick Aldis in the ring. He called out Randy Orton. Randy wants his match for WrestleMania since it was canceled because of what happened with Kevin Owens. This is actually the 20th WrestleMania in which he's going to compete. And Randy even made a reference to Mickie James. We don't usually hear her name, especially what happened on LFG. But he mentioned her, and she's, of course, married to Nick Aldis in real life. Some of the fans got it, others didn't. And Randy really wants his match. He even teases Nick Aldis wrestling him, which I don't want to see. Solo Sikoa interrupted him. He's rocking a new look. And I just thought to myself, well, I don't want to see Nick and Randy, but I'd rather see that than Solo getting the spot. He brings up Jacob's match with LA Knight. Randy challenges them both to a fight. Then they get the upper hand to beat him down, him and Tama Tonga, the loser Tama Tonga. LA Knight comes down, makes a save, and he challenges them both to a tag team match with him and Randy against Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga for later tonight, which was the main event. I have to say, the earliest part of the show, the opening part, and the main event were probably my least favorite parts of the show because I don't give a shit about Solo Sikoa, I don't give a shit about Tama Tonga. Those guys really suck right now. I like Randy. LA, I think, is pretty cold right now. Doesn't have the heat he had 2 years ago, but he gets a reaction still. The other two guys I don't give a shit about. Those guys, to me, I may as well just release them, especially Solo. You can just get rid of that guy. He's done, man. He is finished. When Roman Reigns beat him on that Raw debut on Netflix, you may as well just release him there. There's nothing for him here anymore. That guy sucks. You had Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez heading to the ring for the gauntlet match in which they will face the winner. So we have Bayley and Lyra Valkyria out first for the women's gauntlet match. Winner goes on to face Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez at WrestleMania 41. First was Bayley and Lyra challenging Shayna and Zoe. Man, talk about two women who are on the chopping block. After this post-WrestleMania cuts, those are probably going to be the first two names, Shayna and Zoe. Nothing here. Lyra pinned Shayna with a jackknife roll-up. See ya. That might be the last time we see them both on TV. Then you had Natalya and Maxine Dupree out next. I think their nickname was the Dungeon Princesses. Not that. Something stupid. Some really stupid name. Natalya should just be a trainer now. Maxine Dupree is awful. Bayley rolled up Maxine for the win. Then you had Kaden Carter and Katana Chance out next. They had a decent showing here, but Lyra eventually pinned Katana with a Nightwing. Then you had Misha and B-Fab out. Bayley got a roast plant onto B-Fab and pinned her. Then you had Alba Fyre and Piper Niven, the Hervis, Chelsea Green stable out last. they had a showing as well. They had a competitive match, but eventually Lyra pinned Alba Fire after she took a roast plant from Bayley, followed by a leg drop from the top rope by Lyra, and she pinned Alba Fire, and her and Bayley are heading to WrestleMania to face Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. So I was thinking that we could have gotten a surprise appearance by Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Didn't get it. I assume they're going to be on TV after WrestleMania. That's when they'll restart the Wyatt 6 program. But for Alexa Bliss, she's a star. Look at the reaction she got at the Royal Rumble. They've done nothing with her. She appeared in the Chamber, and she got a reaction there too. She was probably the most over woman in the Chamber, and they haven't done anything with her. It's too bad with Alexa Bliss because she's just such a bigger star and so much more over the crowd than a lot of the women, almost all of the women, to be honest. But she's going to now miss her 4th straight WrestleMania, unfortunately. That's unfortunate. I don't know if she's going to be on the show. She's certainly not going to be wrestling. She might make an appearance, but no Alexa this year. And Nikki Cross won't be there either, but I don't think that's much of any surprise there. I just thought they'd do more with Alexa since she came back. And she got such a positive reaction at the Rumble. I just thought she'd have a spot at WrestleMania, even if it's not a prominent match. That's unfortunate, but Bayley's on the card. I'm happy to see her on the card. She deserves to be on the card. I don't like saying deserve, but she really is. She's been there. She's been a staple at the women's division for so long. And Lyra, she is the Intercontinental Champion, so it's good that she's at least getting a spot. I would have loved to have seen Lyra Valkyria defend her Intercontinental title against Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. That was the match I was really hoping we'd see, but Becky just didn't return. It wouldn't surprise me if she knew that Charlotte was going to win the Rumble, so she decided not to come back. Why? And I was really hoping we'd get Becky and Lyra at Mania, and maybe I was assuming Becky puts over Lyra, Charlotte puts over Tiffany, and Bayley puts over Roxanne Perez at WrestleMania. So that's what I was hoping to see. We didn't get that at all. They mentioned Charlotte might put over Tiffany, but I have my doubts. They mentioned Charlotte attacking Tiffany in the parking lot. They said Charlotte was sent home. They didn't show the footage. I saw the footage on social media. It's kind of funny because Charlotte just jumps her, and then I think the Street Profits are right there, and they see it happen. They just stand there and watch it. But that was the planned assault. It was similar to when Kevin turned on Cody last year when they had that fan cam footage. They actually showed that. They didn't show it here. It's kind of like they were trying to make it like it was real. So they didn't want to give it credence by making the people at home think it's part of the angle. They're trying to really get heat on it. They announced it's Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest at WrestleMania in a Sin City street fight. Happy to see that. I think that match needed it. They've done very good. That's been one of the sleeper builds for WrestleMania this year. It's actually been very good, especially when you consider the long-term story of everything that's happened between the two, of how Damian Priest actually beat Drew McIntyre last year to cash it in. In a way, people don't think of it like this. This is actually a WrestleMania rematch. And then there was the Clash at the Castle with Punk screwing Drew, and then the Money in the Bank. Same thing happened. So Priest had pinned McIntyre on 3 straight PLEs last year. And then there was Priest taking out McIntyre in the Rumble, and then him rolling him up and eliminating Drew in the Chamber. So he's had his number for a while, and I like that it's a Sin City street fight. So that's been a well-built-up feud. Even though a lot of the feuds have been very lackluster in the build-up this year, that's actually been a sleeper. It's been very well done. So Damian Priest heads to the ring. Before he can get to the ring, Drew McIntyre jumps him as Priest was making his entrance. Drew's wearing an eye patch. After he beats him down, he takes off the eye patch, cuts a promo on the WrestleMania match. However, Damian Priest comes back and fights back, but McIntyre hits him with the steps as they were brawling. McIntyre got the upper hand on the outside and hit him with the steps. And then he takes the bottom steps, grabs Priest, and then hits a future shock DDT onto the bigger bottom steps and laying him out, posing on top of the steps after. Drew got the upper hand after getting chokeslammed through a windshield a couple weeks ago, so continuing to build up their match, and I have to say, I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm kind of looking forward to their street fight. They might use weapons. Every WrestleMania match gets to use some weapons, and we'll get to see the gimmicks in that match. So every WrestleMania has that kind of that gimmick match where weapons are used, so we'll see it there. DIY argued with Pretty Deadly backstage, and the Morrissey Machine Guns came in. I guess DIY is off the WrestleMania card this year. It's unfortunate. They were on last year. Legato's out next. You had Penta taking on Berto. Very solid. Let's say Penta. Phoenix taking on Berto. I was thinking Penta because it's his brother, but Phoenix won. Solid matchup. Santos shook Phoenix's hand after the match. He's obviously trying to recruit him, and he was upset at Berto for kind of blowing him off. Backstage, Byron Saxton interviews Roxanne Perez. She's upset at Ava because she doesn't have a match scheduled for NXT Stand and Deliver, and she doesn't have a match scheduled for the whole weekend right now, and she's probably not going to get a match unless we hear something being announced for Stand and Deliver, which I assume she'll get on the card there. She demands a shot at the WWE Women's Championship because Tiffany Stratton can't do it. She is, I guess she was saying that Tiffany can't handle the pressure and she's caving. And it was kind of funny because she doesn't want Tiffany Stratton to match. She doesn't think she can handle it. But, I mean, Tiffany's a champion, so you can't face Charlotte. What are you going to face Charlotte for? Just a singles match? That was kind of what I was thinking there. Maybe she wants Tiffany stripped of the belt. But Tiffany appears and calls out Roxanne. She makes fun of her, Roxanne does, for getting beat up by Charlotte. Then Tiffany gets angry, so she challenges Roxanne to a match right as Nick Aldis comes out of his office. He says he'll think about it, and I just have to say, I really wish we were getting Bayley and Roxanne Perez at WrestleMania, or if it wasn't going to be at WrestleMania, I was hoping we'd get the match of Stand and Deliver, and that's what I thought we were going to have when Bayley first appeared at NXT earlier in the year. I was really hoping we'd get a WrestleMania weekend match between the two of them. It didn't happen. It's unfortunate. They show footage of CM Punk's Best in the World DVD from 2012, which I bought. They're highlighting the relationship between Paul Heyman and CM Punk. It's actually kind of nostalgic for me because I remember the WWE used to release all these DVDs, and they were just awesome back then. Then they stopped releasing them when the network happened, and then DVD's dead now. So it was Blu-ray basically. Everything is just streaming. But I miss those documentaries they used to produce, and that CM Punk one was probably one of the best, if not the best. There was a really great Steve Austin documentary they released. There was a really good one on The Rock they released. There was the Paul Heyman one, which was excellent. There was a whole bunch of ones they released at this time that all sold really well, but the Punk one was freaking great. So they implied that Punk, it was the funniest part was because they're highlighting the relationship between CM Punk and Paul Heyman, and they show footage from 2013, the night after WrestleMania 29, when Punk basically leaves after he lost to The Undertaker, and they're implying that that's when Punk decided to leave the company in April of 2013 after the loss to the Undertaker at WrestleMania, which is just so funny because he had that infamous walkout on Raw in January 2014, the night after Royal Rumble, when he was chokeslammed by Kane for announcement. That was the last time we saw Punk on TV for 9.5 years, almost 10 years. But anyway, I know it's not a big deal. I just found that pretty funny. That's almost Vince McMahon WWE revisionist history type of shit there. That kind of irked me in a way. So they incorporate modern footage to build up the match, which I kind of liked with the DVD, to highlight the relationship between Punk and Paul. And I thought this was very well done. This was a good video package. Chelsea Green's backstage. She's knocking on the trainer's door for Alba Fire and Piper Niven, who were hurt after they lost to Bayley and Lyra, who only had to wrestle 4 matches before they beat them. But they're hurt. Zelina Vega appears behind Chelsea Green and says she'll have to go at it alone. She's mocking her. And then Zelina Vega heads to the ring for her title shot against Chelsea Green for the women's U.S. title. Then right before Zelina Vega's match, we get a video package for Aleister Black. The 4 video package. It's Aleister Black. We all know it. I kind of thought it was funny. And maybe we get to see him have an alliance with his real-life wife, Zelina Vega. I wouldn't mind seeing that. This was old school LRMania. I used to talk about this match that I kind of want to see happen. Maybe it's better I didn't, but I was always hoping when Zelina Vega was with Andrade, how about she turns on him, joins Aleister, and then we get real-life couple, Aleister Black, Zelina Vega, against the other real-life couple, Andrade and Charlotte Flair. I thought that would have been a fun mixed tag match. It's never going to happen now because Charlotte and Andrade are unfortunately divorced, but I thought that would have been a fun mixed tag match. So we get the Women's U.S. title on the line, Chelsea Green defending against Zelina Vega. So what happens is they brawl on the outside immediately. Chelsea gets the upper hand. She beats up Zelina on the outside, threw her into the announce table, then threw her into the ring. And unfortunately, when she threw her in the ring, she accidentally counted herself out. So Zelina Vega wins the match, doesn't win the belt. She wins it by count out. And Chelsea Green is the stupid heel who cost herself the match. I think they once said with Batista and Edge at a pay-per-view once, and Batista threw Edge back in the ring by accident. But right as 9, and then he counted himself out. So I've seen that spot before. It's okay. They're going to obviously do a match, a 6-woman tag now at WrestleMania SmackDown. Unfortunately, neither of these two are going to make the WrestleMania card. I think Chelsea Green will be at WrestleMania. I think she'll have a segment at WrestleMania. I'm pretty sure. Don't think she will have a match. Backstage, Santos upset with Berto, and him and Angel look for Phoenix to recruit him. Tiffany Stratton, Roxanne Perez was announced for later tonight. Andrade talks to Berto backstage. He tells him he's a great wrestler. Berto basically tells him to mind his own business. We'll see what happens with Andrade. I remember he was cryptically tweeting not too long ago. That's never a good sign. Naomi cut a promo on Jade Cargill on a cinematic video. Then it goes to Jade. And I'm not sure who's going to win this match because Naomi has a new gimmick, and I'm pretty sure they could have a new stable with Naomi, which she adds Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend, who, by the way, the late Kevin Castle thought that would happen. He predicted it, and I think that could still happen eventually if Naomi wins, because I'm not sure, but Jade is still probably the favorite. All the WWE championships in history are displayed in the ring. There's the first title belt. There's the Winning Guild, the Smoking Skull belt. I don't know if we saw the Smoking Skull belt, but we saw, the belt that was used in the Attitude Era mostly. Then, the Ruthless Aggression Era. Then the Spinner belt, which was the PG Era's official belt. Then Cody's belt. And I think we saw the one belt that was used. I think that was called the Reality Era belt. I'm pretty sure we saw that as well. So we saw all the belts displayed in the ring. Cody makes his entrance. He cuts a promo on keeping the WWE Championship home because John Cena is going to go and take and disappear, even if he's scheduled for a whole bunch of appearances after. It's almost as if they're repeating the CM Punk storyline in 2011 with John Cena. Cody responds to the message that he's one of the fans that Cena was mocking him for. Cody embraces it. He says he's part of the fans. He even makes a reference to Dusty Rhodes, who can't accept that there's baby faces after him. And he's cutting his usual promo. It was fine. It was designed to hype up the match. Again, when I say it doesn't have the heat that it had last year, he had The Rock on TV every week, and John Cena is great. He's not The Rock, unfortunately. That's just the truth. And we haven't had Cena on every week. He's going to be on SmackDown next week, and that's it. So it's a little unfortunate that this match does not have the same heat that Cody and Roman and the tag match, which was Cody and Seth against Rock and Roman, had last year. Neither of the two main events have the same heat as the last year's show, which is unfortunate. So they announced the following for WrestleMania SmackDown. You have John Cena making his final appearance before his last official match at a WrestleMania. We have the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal match. We'll see a whole bunch of wrestlers who are not going to be on WrestleMania. You'll see Braun Strowman there. You'll see Miz, Carmelo Hayes. You'll see a whole bunch of more guys who are not scheduled to be on the WrestleMania card. You might see Ludwig Kaiser, who's not scheduled. Then you'll see a 6-woman tag team match. So we're not getting Chelsea Green and Zelina Vega in a U.S. title match. We're getting a 6-woman tag match. We're getting on Chelsea Green and her Secret Service, which is Alba Fire and Piper Niven. Those three will team up against Zelina Vega and her two new friends, Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. So you have a 6-woman tag team match next week, and then you're also going to have the WWE Tag Team Championships defended on SmackDown, WrestleMania SmackDown, which will be the Street Profits defending their belts against the Motor City Machine Guns. Unfortunately, the DIY, Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano are not going to have a match this weekend at WrestleMania, it looks like. Neither will Mello Don't Miz, Carmelo Hayes and The Miz. Actually, they will be in the Andre batch, and so will DIY, but they won't have a tag team match, I'm trying to say. So You'll get Street Profits and the Motor City Machine Guns. Kind of underwhelming. I thought we'd get like a triple threat tag match or a Fatal 4 with Mello and Miz. I thought they can at least have a very good match on SmackDown, but yeah, it's too bad. You had Byron Saxton interviewing the Street Profits for their match next week against the Motor City Machine Guns. Mello and Miz confronted them. They said this could lead to a match. Actually, Miz insulted them that they don't have a match at WrestleMania. I hope they somehow get on, but it's not going to happen this year. Next, we had Tiffany Stratton and Roxanne Perez. Tiffany is out first, wearing quite the gear, all black. I'm not going to lie, Tiffany looks smoking hot. And speaking of smoking hot, Roxanne Perez was out next. Remember Swipe Right called her a smoke show? Yeah, I think we can all agree Roxanne Perez is a smoke show, as is Tiffany Stratton. Both look great, both wearing all black. Yeah, I'm not going to complain. They both incredibly attractive women, very young too as well. And they are the future of the women's division. These two, along with a few others coming up in NXT, but I think these two really should be two of the most prominently featured women that are still relatively new to the roster. Tiffany's been on officially for over a year now, Roxanne a couple months. And someone who had agreed with that, who I always listen to, was the man who I've been talking about a lot this week, who unfortunately passed away on Monday. That's Kevin Castle, the co-host of the Don Tony and Kevin Castle show. He would always say that the 4 Horsewoman era is over. He would say Charlotte is done. I agree. Charlotte, she has go-away heat right now. Bayley's just a mid-carder. She's done. Becky, we don't see her on TV anymore. I thought we'd see Becky Lynch at the Rumble. We didn't. She's a mom now. It's fine. And then the other one, Sasha Banks, she's not coming back to the WWE anytime soon, as Kevin said. I agree that the 4 Horsewoman era is over. And Tiffany Stratton, Roxanne Perez, Jada Parker from NXT, I think Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, a few others, all have a lot of potential to be the new faces. But I think Tiffany and Roxanne are the two. So, you had role reversals from their NXT matches. Tiffany was the babyface, Roxanne was the heel. It was always the opposite. Roxanne was that goody two-shoe heel before she turned last year. Tiffany was always the heel. So I hope Roxanne has the same success this year that Tiffany had last year. Remains to be seen. Roxanne got the heat in the match. During the mid-off, she raked Tiffany's eyes. There was an obvious wardrobe malfunction. It's obviously going to be on Tiffany Stratton because of what she's wearing and how low her top always is. It was pretty obvious it was on her. Then they had a really good match that I just wish they had more heat from the crowd. I think that was unfortunate. Tiffany eventually won the match with the prettiest moonsault ever. After the match, Charlotte Flair beat her down. She appeared in street clothes, beat up Tiffany, left her leg under the announce table, and posed on top of the table. Wade Barrett had to hold her back from attacking Tiffany. He said, "You'll get fired." I don't think that's going to happen, although I think a lot of fans wish that was the case. After that, we had a whole bunch of announcements for WrestleMania Saturday and Sunday. Saturday has cards, while Sunday has neon lighting as wrestlers come to life in the graphics. So I kind of liked how each of them had different graphics. I like Saturday's just more creative. Sunday's just what we always see every year at WrestleMania anyways. But I did like that it had something different. I would have preferred Saturday to have cards. Maybe Sunday can have poker chips. Maybe Sunday you can have them like as a strip, like for the Las Vegas Strip. I don't know. Main event was next. Actually, I can talk about the cards on Saturday and Sunday, but I'm going to do my predictions next week. We're already like almost 25 minutes into this review, so I'll talk about what's on Saturday and Sunday on my predictions next week. Randy Orton and LA Knight against Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga was our main event. So Randy and Solo brawled in the crowd near the end. LA Knight pinned Tama Tonga. After the match, Jacob Fatu jumps LA Knight, hit 2 moonsaults onto him, leaving him laying in the ring, and that's how we ended SmackDown. That was the final SmackDown before WrestleMania week. And it was, I thought, a good show. So we will see what happens next. It's been a pretty sad week, I think, for a lot of wrestling fans who are listeners of the Don Choi and Kevin Castle show. Rest in peace, Kevin Castle. I'm going to miss hearing him. He was right when he said he wasn't feeling the WrestleMania build. That was his opinion. I think most people would agree, including myself, just not there this year. But that was SmackDown. It was a decent show. We'll see what happens as we go forward into WrestleMania week, which is going to be in a few days. That's when Raw was the first WrestleMania week show. So I've seen WrestleManias with kind of lackluster build that have actually been pretty good, or I've seen WrestleManias that have been really good builds that just didn't deliver. However, in the Triple H era, the last two WrestleManias had really good builds. WrestleMania 39 and WrestleMania 40 were both well built up, and both shows were excellent. So I don't know what that means. I hope we get a good show next week. Actually, it's the early morning of Saturday, so 1 week from today actually is WrestleMania Saturday. Hopefully this WrestleMania card delivers, and we'll see what happens next as we are now closer to our destination as the road to WrestleMania is almost over.